Once upon a time, there lived a Gurudev in the mountain forest near a village. The fame of that Gurudev had spread far and wide. All the nearby villagers respected Gurudev very much and tried to follow Gurudev's words. One morning, a young man came to Gurudev's ashram and said, "Gurudev, I want to be your disciple." Gurudev said, "The path of asceticism is very difficult. You should go back." But the young man stayed in the ashram to receive Gurudev's discipleship. Finally, Gurudev made him a disciple. After a few days, the disciple started to wonder why Gurudev was telling me the same words every day without giving any new advice or message. His reverence for Gurudev began to wane. Finally, he decided to ask Gurudev some tough questions to test whether Gurudev knew any new proverbs or advice at all and the extent of his knowledge. The next morning, the disciple asked Gurudev, "Gurudev, what is death? Why do we die?" Hearing the question, Gurudev smiled and said, "You will know the answer to this question when you know this life and the purpose of your existence. Do you know what this life is?" The disciple said, "Gurudev, this life is God's gift. The purpose of this life is to immerse oneself in the service of God." Gurudev said, "Did God say this to you?" The disciple said, No, Gurudev. This is what the great monks say." Gurudev smiled and said, "Tell me, what other questions you have in your mind?" The disciple said, "I want to know who I was in my previous life." Again Gurudev smiled and said, "Do you know who you are in the present life? Do you know your life completely?" Hearing Gurudev's words, the disciple became completely silent and thought to himself, "Gurudev has not answered any question. Rather, he is asking me questions in reply. I now understand that Gurudev does not know anything. He is only acting like a wise man. I am wasting my time here. I should leave this ashram and this fake Gurudev tomorrow." In the evening, Gurudev called the disciple and the disciple sat next to Gurudev. Gurudev placed his hands on the disciple's shoulder and said with great affection, "I know you will leave this ashram tomorrow." Hearing Gurudev's words, he was surprised and said, "Gurudev, how did you know this?" Gurudev said, "How I came to know is not important. The fact is that the two questions you asked me in the morning, I could have given you the correct answers if I had wished. But until you know the truth through your own perception, all the knowledge or explanation I give you will seem useless or you will not understand its meaning. I can only show you the path or direct you the way which you must follow yourself. Remember, knowledge is not outside but within oneself. It is only through the path of meditation that knowledge can be attained, and through its realization, the absolute truth can be known. It would be a waste of time if I told you that knowledge. You will not gain knowledge at all. You have to gain that knowledge yourself. Hearing these words of Gurudev, the disciple thought, Gurudev does not know the answer to my difficult questions, so he is saying these things to save himself. If he knew, he would have told me like all other Gurudevs. The next day, a very wise Pandit or a great scholar came to the ashram and bowed down to Gurudev and said, I have come to your ashram to impart jnana, the ultimate knowledge, to all your disciples. If you allow, today I will impart knowledge to your disciples about life, death, God, and sadhana. Gurudev said, I know that knowledge cannot be imparted to anyone. Knowledge can be only realized. On hearing this, the learned man said, your idea is a little wrong. The more knowledge is imparted, the more knowledge increases. Gurudev said, you are welcome. Please share your knowledge to all the disciples as you like. The great wise Pandit spoke a lot about life, death, God, and sadhana to all the disciples from morning to night, gave many explanations from the scriptures, and cited many examples. After giving knowledge, the learned person came in front of Gurudev and said, I felt very good about imparting knowledge to all the disciples of your ashram. How did you feel? Gurudev smiled softly and said, I have been waiting since that morning to hear your knowledge, but you talked all day and I listened. But where did I get your knowledge? Pandit said, what? I gave so much knowledge about life, death, God, and sadhana. You didn't listen. Gurudev said, I heard everything from morning till night. Everything you said was the words from books and words told by great yogis. I didn't hear any words of knowledge of your self-realization. The learned man bowed his head in silence. Gurudev said, knowledge is not there in external books or sermons. Knowledge resides in the heart. It is possible to gain that knowledge only through meditation, and he who has attained this knowledge becomes calm like a lotus in a deep pool. He dwells deep in life. He does not make noise like an empty pitcher. Meditate. Go deep into your own heart. There is the eternal store of pearls of knowledge. The learned man said, O Gurudev, my life so far has been filled with pride of vain, ostentatious scholarship. Take me as a disciple Teach me the path of knowledge. Teach me the way to become supremely meditative. The disciple was listening to Pandit and Gurudev from a distance. He came to Gurudev and said, "O Gurudev, I too have realized my mistake. The real knowledge of this world is not outside, but within oneself." Dear friends, the present world is full of fake Pandits and fake Gurudevs. They are imparting knowledge to lakhs of disciples by rote learning. Know for sure that the knowledge is of no use. Your time is wasted. Just meditate. Only through meditation, enlightenment is possible. Knowing oneself is possible. Attaining the ultimate state of being is possible. Good luck to all. Thank you.